Hey, trip sitters. If you are looking to elevate your wellness journey, then let me introduce you to Fungi, your new go to premium Kana supplements for a little extra magic throughout your day. If you're not familiar with Kana, let me give you the lowdown. Kana is a plant native to South Africa, traditionally used to boost mood, reduce stress, and promote a sense of well being. Whether you're starting the day with focus, winding down for relaxation, or need a little pick me up to help you get through a night out, Fun Guys blends powered by Kana will keep you sharp, centered, and feeling good. They've got chocolates, they've got tinctures, and they've got fruit juice. And also, here's an exclusive treat for trip sitting listeners. Head over to the link at the footnotes of this podcast and enter code trip sitting at checkout for 15% off your order. Again, use the link in the footnotes of the podcast and then use code trip sitting for 15% off your order of Fun Guy products. Today's guest is a talented and heart-centered healer. He serves Kambo, Bufo. He is a spinal flow practitioner, and he's developed his own technique called shamanic emotional cleanse. This technique helps people release traumas, old stories, and can even bring people to their past lives. We have a really open and honest conversation about what life is like as somebody who serves medicine and who heals people, about his story and how he actually got here to begin with. And this is definitely a conversation that I was very, very lucky to be able to have. So thanks for listening, and we'll get into the podcast with today's guest, Erick. Welcome to the Chip Sitting Podcast. Today we are joined by Erick, who is a soul and body healer and somebody who I am very blessed to have been able to meet, and somebody who I'm really excited to be able to have on the podcast today. So thanks for joining me, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and it's so great to be in your presence and to actually be part of it and what you do. So thank you for doing what you do, and honored to be here doing this, sharing a little bit about myself, about pathways for people to do their own healing.
Well, I'd like to get started by talking about your background and kind of going back to how you ended up doing this work. And if you could maybe shed some light on, like, what did your own healing process look like, and when did that really begin for you?
That's a very interesting question. It feels like all my life I've been kind of preparing to this. I was involved in some transformational work back in the early 2000s, and I was involved in that education for like 10 years, and I've learned a lot of educational communication skills that I get to use now. And always been somebody that I like to support other people. And there was how did this journey, part of my life, this chapter of my life started. It's there was a big change in my life. I was married for many years, and that had to come to stop. It ended, and that set me on a self healing process where I encounter a lot of support in my own healing through medicines, through psychedelic medicines, and that's how it began. And being someone that always liked to support others, I was going to figure out a way to do it. I mean, if I look at myself and see that guy, say, this guy's going to figure something out. I know that he's in pain and he's doing all these things, but he's going to figure it out. I don't know how, but he's that I have that sense, and of course, little by little, I started with Kambo, serving Kambo, got trained with Kambo, and then almost like every year I have added something to my offering now, and it's been a transformation that's taken about 4 years, and I've been blessed to have worked with a lot of people, supporting them, helping them on their own healing. So that's how this whole thing started. I mean, my life is like from that pivotal point is the before and after, and it's a total different human being, I would say, from before and after. And I'm very grateful for that for myself, and for what I get to do.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Kambo. So like what exactly is Kambo? What is Kambo used for and how is it served?
Kambo is a medicine that comes from South America. It's from the Felimedusa. It's the secretion for the Felimedusa frog, or giant green monkey frog, it's called. And the so I'm gonna go with the legend. It's a medicine that's been used for hundreds of years. It's got a lot of history in it. The legend goes that there was a shaman that he was dealing with the sickness of his people, and he couldn't figure out how to heal them. And the legend goes that he it's two versions. One that he went to the jungle and sat with the nature, and he got these downloads to go to the frog. And there's another legend, another version that I've heard that is that uh, he went and sat with ayahuasca, and in the journey he got guided to Kambo, and how to take the secretion from Kambo, and how to administer. So he did that and came back to the tribe, and brought healing to his tribe. And so that's the legend. Now, in the modern world, there's been scientists that have actually done studies. There's an Italian scientist that studied amphibians, and he went across this frog and studied it, and he found out that it contains a cocktail of peptides. Now, these peptides, our body contains peptides. We have receptors. These peptides have antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, uh, and even analgesic properties. I've seen people get better with pain, and so that's the scientific side of it. So for the body, it's great, to bring health to your body, brings your body to balance. Uh, it boosts up your immune system. The In the tribe, they used to take it before they go hunting, because one of the things that after you see what common that is very common people say is that they're able to focus a lot better. They feel like a weight has been lifted off their shoulder, so they feel lighter. They can actually concentrate and just be like keenly go hunting. That's part of the. I wanted to plug in that part of the legend of how it gets used as well. So going back to the scientific side of it, so it boosts up your immune system. So it's amazing for health. Now, in the process, the experience itself is like having a flu for like 30 minutes. Yeah, it's like
To put it mildly.
put in I want to like sugarcoat it a little bit here.
Yeah.
I can go in detail if you want to hear the details, but like let's call it a heavy flu.
Yeah, yeah, very, very, very heavy flu.
Yeah, heavy flu for 30 minutes. And I think it's natural when you go through discomfort that things arise. Oppressed emotions arise. I think it's not only that happens in with Kambo, but with a lot of uncomfortable places that we go through. Bring stuff up. So I've seen people cry, anger come up, even laughter. So all these emotions can arise, and some people can have a spiritual connection in that process in the 30 minutes. It's the medicine stays in the body for about 25 minutes, and yeah, I've seen a lot of people have like very spiritual processes as well. So that's what Kambo is, and the way that it gets administered, it's actually goes through the skin. There's some slight burns. It doesn't hurt that much. It hurts a little bit. With incense stick, we just burn off the top layer of the skin, and that's where the Kambo goes. Uh, and then you go through your flu for 30 minutes.
You also got to drink a lot of water beforehand.
Actually, I want to talk about that because
Okay.
the way that I was trained, the way that I was trained by Tribal Detox. You can look them up. It's a great trainer. Uh, we only use about 3/4 of a liter of water,
Hmm.
uh, because the purpose is that you have something to purge. Because there could be a danger of going into hyponatremia if you drink too much water. So we're very on the safety side of things. That's the amount of water, and of course, in the process, you may drink a little more to help it. Because one of the things while you're going through the flu, there's purging, there's physical purging. That is not the goal of the medicine. Most people purge, and some people don't purge, and it's fine. It's not like one is getting more benefits than the other. It's just everybody's it's is unique. So some people purge and some people don't purge, and
Hmm.
that's perfect. Yeah.
Interesting. I always thought that that the goal of Kambo was to get that purge. I didn't realize that if you didn't get that purge, that I mean, essentially, it doesn't really matter. Like you're still getting all of the same positive effects from it.
Yeah. Well, there's several ways of purging. One is actually physical purge, and another one could be just yawning or body movement, or you may even have to go to the bathroom. So that's another way of purging. So it's the physical purge is it's not the goal. It happens most of the time, but it's not the goal.
Yeah. And Kambo is not like psychedelic or hallucinogenic in any way, correct?
Yes, it is not. It's more of the physical, and that's very important that you mention that because this is like Kambo is recommended. I recommend Kambo like several sitting of Kambo before going into any psychedelic journey, whatever it is, because it's almost like preparing the physical aspect of the healing process in order to go into like other forms of other levels of consciousness healing. So it's very powerful. I actually have taken a few people taking Kambo, spiritual healing, and then more embodiment, which we'll talk about. What we'll talk about what I recommend for integrating, which is also embodiment work.
What do you mean by embodiment work?
So I think I want to talk about this because this is very important. Uh, the body is like a big memory stick, like a big memory holder, and I've been discovering that it holds past life memories, it holds traumas, it holds oppressed emotions, and by working in the body, you start going through this, like these emotions come up to the surface, and we're able to process them in this reality, which the spiritual work helps with this, but the body still remembers. So this is very important work, I think, as part of the healing journey. So that's what I mean.
Okay, gotcha. And so I know that this might be a little bit of a abrupt transition, but I want to talk specifically about the shamanic emotional cleanse technique that you've developed, and I guess how that plays into some of the medicine work that you do as well.
Yeah. Well, I've been so amazed of the things that come up with people in these processes, and what it looks like, physical. So I call it emotional shamanic because there's some energy involved, releasing and manipulating a little bit of energy. I'm also Reiki one certified. So there's some energy that happens, but the bulk of it's physical, which the way that it looks is you're laying on a massage table. I take you through some breathing exercises to just be present in the moment, and then bring in awareness to your body, starting from your feet all the way up to your all the way up to the head, and connecting to source, connecting to Mother Earth. And then once you bring that awareness up, this is a very critical part of this sessions. Is it's almost like bringing your senses and your awareness to your body, because that's what's required. And then once that happens, I start working on the feet. I start touching some key points, some energetic points that I start touching, and then I move up. I start at the feet, the ankles, slowly move up. I find, and then things start coming up. I've seen past lives things, people describing really, and this is not. I don't want to say that this is going to happen to everybody. These are people that some people have had this experience where they're actually describing very vividly and living very vividly things that they live on other lives. It almost looked like a past life regression.
Hmm.
And so I start moving, and then I start moving up through the large muscles, the legs, the calf area. They hold a lot of stuff, a lot of memories there. And I put the way that it works is I once I find a place where it's almost into, well, a couple things come into play. Intuition and the body start talking. Once you touch it, it's almost like, hey, I need attention here. I'm holding something here, and then I just hold it. And a lot of times I put a lot of pressure, and sometimes it's painful, but underneath the pain comes the memories and the deep things that are being held there. And then people have, they release it through breath, through sounds, and I keep going all the way up. The abdomen, the liver holds a lot of anger, and it can be anywhere. The hands, even the fingers hold a lot of memory. So it's like, yeah. So that's kind of like what it looks like. The process is about it, but and 1.5 to 2 hours, and this supports a journey, a spiritual journey, whatever it is, uh, Bufo, ayahuasca, or anything, because this spiritual journeys, I think, bring these things up to the surface in the body. So it's a perfect time to do the body work. Uh, that's what I found out so far.
Gotcha. And so, how did you develop this specific technique that you do? And I guess who were some of your teachers that you've learned from along the way in order to bring some of those other things into your own practice?
Beautiful. So this how this whole thing started is last year. I got trained into being a spinal flow facilitator, and I'll share a little bit about what that is. So an energetic and body, which is it's a great technique, by the way. And so that's how this whole thing started. So I got trained in that, and then I follow a lot of great people doing great work out there, spinal energetics, emotional release, and I started exploring. I have some friends that have close clients, friends that were so generous, and having them kind of like test these things in there. And slowly, I started learning. I mean, it's almost like self-taught. Slowly learning new ways of doing it, adapting, and just kind of navigating through it. I've gotten to this point, and along the way, I've taken other trainings. I went to Mexico to take another training last year or this year, and those all those things come into play into the session. So I have like little bits of some of my training and some of the things that I've learned along the way, on my own. And I've had great friends that have been guinea pigs, so to speak. Uh, and it's turned out to be a great technique. Oh my God, it's and I'm doing this because I'm think as I do this, I'm thinking about the benefits and the things that people have experienced through this. Yeah.
Yeah. How what are some of those benefits that you've seen?
People have gotten to release the, you know, I just want to say that we all have things with our parents. One of the biggest thing that in the healing is to complete our our experience with our parents. Uh, either forgive them for, accepting them for who they are, and they got the best, even whatever happens. We all have something with our parents. So, going in deep, some of these things are so deep. I can share that some of these things, even the bone hold a lot of memories, the bones.
Mm.
So the benefit is to actually relive this and actually express even anger towards our parents, which is not, I'm not supporting that, but it's an emotion that needs to be expressed for, because it comes from pain and anger that was never expressed as a child. So people are able to bring this to the surface, and of course, these are very deep healing processes. I mean, they're there, they're feeling the pain, and as they're feeling the pain, they can express it, and release it. Let go of the anger, and then once the anger gets released, then can go to the space. What all they needed was love, to be listened to be seen. So they are left with that. Once they get released, they go back to this, and then of course comes forgiveness. And forgiveness is for our own peace of mind. It's not condoling any behavior, but it's for our own. We hear this all the time, and I'm only sharing wisdom that I've learned from other people. But that's the key, release and actually forgive others for our peace of mind. You know,
That's beautifully said.
yeah.
Changing topics a little bit, going back to some of the medicines that you serve. So I know that you spoke about Kambo, but another medicine that you serve is also Bufo. So I'd love to hear what your journey was like with Bufo, and um, also talk about the importance of honoring all of the medicines that you serve, and how that plays a role in the healing process overall.
Yeah, that's the Bufo. It's for me, it's a sacrament. I honor it that way. And my how did that journey begin? The first time I sat with it, it was it was it was such a journey. Bufo is a very powerful medicine, powerful sacrament. And the first time I sat with it, I remember taking it in, and it's like, oh my God, I don't want this. But at that point, there's no point. No,
There's no turning back.
there's no turning back. I dove in, I saw the white light, and oh my God, it was such a healing process. That a lot of the healing that happens in this medicine, it's underneath. Sometimes you don't even. It's not even the awareness. Not even like, oh, I heal my relationship with X, Y. It's just kind of heal it, and you have that space of love, and and that's how it works. That's why they call it that. It's the most powerful medicine out there. So that was my beginning journey with it, my experience with it, and throughout, even at that moment. So I come from an entrepreneur background. I just want to just I don't want to take too much time for that, because I was a real estate broker. I've owned jewelry business, so I have an entrepreneur background. And from the moment that I took the medicine, I said, "Oh my God, this is something that I'm not gonna be able to do." And so, I mean, to serve or to provide to other people, because it is so powerful, right? And so there was a desire to share it, even at that moment in the
Hmm.
beginning. It was like, well, this is so powerful. I want to share it with the world, but this is the one thing I'm not being able to do. that's how it showed up for me. And then, of course, it was a thought, and it went, and of course, I was going to find a way to, you know, to create a deeper relationship with it and be able to share it. So I found some people that were sharing the knowledge. Eventually, a year and a half later, sharing their knowledge and sharing how to do it safely and how to honor it, how to do it in a context of ceremony and serve it as a sacrament. So that's how this whole started. And since then, I deepen. I mean, I'm only learning. I think all of us are learning, and the medicine is teaching us. I'm continuously learning every single time. I serve somebody. But I've deepened my relationship with it. I've gone to Mexico, to the Sonoran Desert, cut the tone and see how it's handled with love and care, and how it's milked and how it gets released back into nature, honoring it, with people that do it that way. So I've gone to there's a tribe in Mexico that carry the medicine and have a deep relationship with the medicine. It's called the Seri tribe. That they are in Punta Chueca in Sonora. I've been there a couple of times and met amazing shamans there, amazing people there, wisdom keepers that are just, you can just sit with these people and just listen. You
Hmm.
sit, listen for hours, and you see this, there's the wisdom keeper, and there's just always people around them just listening, for his stories, his wisdom. So I've been honored to experience that. To deepen, and all this is because I want to deepen my relationship with the medicine. Know the history. I read a couple books here about it. So yeah, that's how that journey started. And yeah,
Why is it that you think Bufo is such a powerful medicine? Like, what is it doing to the body and to the mind that allows it to, I mean, have this like almost like folklore essence to it of just being, like the God molecule, the spirit molecule, and it moves so much energy. I've never experienced it myself, but anytime that I hear people talking about it, and especially people that serve it, there's a very very deep respect and reverence that it deserves.
this is my description of it. So let's pretend. I mean, I'm gonna use my hands, okay? But
Mm-hmm.
let's pretend this is the self. This is the self, right? The self.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the ego. And I don't refer or talk bad about the ego. The ego is such a great protector. It protects you. At times, it just forget that it doesn't have to protect you anymore. And that's our work to do, right? Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
dude, you don't have to protect me anymore. I'm safe. And that takes easier said than done, right? That's like a whole life journey to get that relationship with the ego. So this is the ego. So what happens, and like the almost like the second part of the journey is that the ego disconnects from the self, and then once the self is not related to the ego, then it can actually go and experience the oneness, the source of what it is, right? And this is the blissful part of it. This is what people experience as being oneness, being everything, not in a conversational way or visual way, but just the ways of being. Like there's no body in this experience while this is happening. Of course, the ego. Once you come back from the gym, the ego is come back and it's like, hey, dude, what the heck? We agreed to this. Like, what? No, it's just ready to come back. And then, of course, you treat it with love. Hey, thank you for protecting me. We're connecting to our heart. We're connecting. We're remembering that we're one, and we're remembering that what we are. And then you come back to it, and then the integration process begin. How do you bring this remembering to life, to the human, to the body life, and that takes that's the integration part of the process. So That's why it's so powerful. There, and it's intense. So the first part of it is, I call it. This is just my own description of it, and I started using this description, after a great book that I read. Uh, the first part of the Bufo experience is, it's the purification process, and it doesn't mean that we're impure. What it means is that, we're gonna go deal with what's not you, like all the traumas, all the oppressed emotions, even past life stuff that is there. So we're gonna go there and work on that in a very intense way, like right now. Like,
Hmm.
there's no, okay, we're gonna, in a few minutes, no, it's like,
We're gonna take our time. We're gonna think about it. We're gonna analyze it.
no.
You don't get the option to do that.
It's that's the intensity. That's why they call it the most powerful DMT. Not, and not from force or anything, because
Hmm.
the beauty of Bufo is that it does that so intensely and with such a intentional way. And then after you go through that process, and of course sometimes you need to sit with the medicine a few times to get past this point, because there's, some people, we have, I mean,
Some people have a lot
40.
that they're just holding on to that they don't even realize like how tightly they are holding on to some of those things, and so you know they need that jolt.
Exactly. So, but once you go through this process, Bufo is on the other side, showing you the frequency of love. Like, we are love, we are everything, we are joy, and then, we come back with that tenderness, that self love, and the point of all this is to love yourself, accept yourself, really embrace, and like, I love it when people, I encourage them to hug themselves, and like, and they're caressing themselves, because that's the source of it, the source of it all. Once we accept ourselves, once we love ourselves, then we can be that to the world.
Hmm. Is there? So I know that the active ingredient in Bufo is 5-MeO DMT, but does Bufo itself have other alkaloids and compound that makes it different than just 5-MeO DMT?
Yeah, there's a bufotine alkaloids and different things. So the bufo, from bufo toad, it's between 14 and 24 5-MeO DMT, and then the
Percent.
rest percent, yeah, compared to the what is called synthetic. I don't like
Hmm.
to call it synthetic because it still comes from nature,
Yeah.
but that is almost 99% pure 5-MeO. So, you know, I've experienced both. I experienced the pure 5-MeO, and they're very similar. I gotta say they're very similar. I think this is only an opinion. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. And the truth is that there's a lot that we don't know about this medicine.
Hmm.
Uh, it's whether it's been in our history for in the past. Who knows? There's a couple of ways that they look at it. Like, it's been there for a while, or it's new, but it seems to be either rediscovered or is new for these times. I think this medicine. It is for these times, for this
Hmm.
special time that we are. And so I forgot my point. uh,
And that's
what
okay.
was that's okay. But
Talking about Bufo versus 5-MeO, and I guess
yeah,
how long Bufo has been used for.
yeah. So my actually, I remember. So the point is that with my opinion, with the Bufo medicine, you have this sense of connecting to nature. Like, when you come back, you're so connected to nature. As a matter of fact, when people come to from the experience, I have a very comfortable mat where they lay down, and they just want to go into the dirt. and like be in the dirt. I mean, they come out black, black, like they lay on the dirt and they just want to feel the Mother Earth. So I feel that is my opinion of the difference between one and the other. And I'm not saying anything about the purified meal. I think
Yeah.
it's there's something there, obviously tremendous. It's just it's big. So I just prefer to serve the buffalo, and I know because I know the source, I know the people that collect it with love and respect. So that's very
Hmm.
important for me. Uh,
Have you experienced smoking just DMT?
uh, I have not, I haven't done a full journey with it. I have experienced what's called changa, which is it
Hmm.
contains DMT. It's something that it's a medicine from also Mexico. That's uh, I think it's very similar to DMT. I think it's almost the same thing as DMT, from
Hmm.
what I understand.
Yeah, I believe it's Changa is basically DMT, but it has some MAOIs,
Hmm.
so the experience lasts longer. But it's DMT obviously versus 5-MeO DMT, which is what Bufo is.
Yeah. So if you're going to what the difference is with the changa or DMT, I think it with changa and DMT that you still are aware of your body. You're still in the duality. So
Mm,
you
gotcha.
yeah, and then Bufo is like oneness. There's no talking.
The body just disappears, and it's just pure soul and spirit.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So coming back from that seems like it would almost be, I don't know, kind of a jarring experience, like having to be this expansive state of pure oneness with the universe, like not separate from anything else, and then coming back and having to like inhabit this body and having all of these limitations again.
Yeah. That's when the real work begins, right?
Hmm.
They were how do you incorporate that into your daily life? And it's a process, there's a lot of practices that are recommended, breath work, connecting to nature, uh, yoga, body movement, all the things that help you integrate that and really appreciate being in a body. So I think
Hmm.
oneness is obviously. I mean, we'll never, we don't remember what it is like to be oneness, right? And for a purpose. We have to come to duality to actually live the human life. And so from that perspective, it's almost relearning to appreciate what it is to be alive.
Hmm.
What it is to actually feel, what it is to love somebody, what it is to receive love. Accepting love is another big thing that you learn to do. After, or one of the integrating parts of these experiences, whether it's Bufo or ayahuasca or whatever, is to be able to receive love and to share your love, and that is the path of integrating, bringing it back to your daily life, where we appreciate the body, our
Yeah,
temple. Yeah.
getting to appreciate the human experience for what it is, and I mean through my own, just healing journey and experiences with these medicines and with some of those other practices too. Uh, I think I've realized just how much in my past, just growing up, because I never really grew up with this sense of greater spirituality and understanding what duality was or anything like that. And I tend to try to run away from the quote unquote like negative experiences and the bad experiences. Like, okay, heartbreak sucks. Heartbreak is one of the most painful experiences that you can go through. So, well, I don't want to go through heartbreak. So maybe I just won't let in love as much, because if I don't let in love as much, then I have, then I won't be able to experience how terrible that heartbreak might be on the other side. And I don't like getting hurt, so I don't want to do things to my body to put myself in a position where I might feel that physical pain. So I start to like live a little bit more safe and do those things. And, after going through this process and continuing to go through this process, I can appreciate those experiences and realize that I need to accept the fullness of all of it. And like, that's what the human experience is about, is being able to accept the full spectrum of what being in this body has to offer, like all of the love and the joy and the bliss and the ecstasy, and also all of the pain and the heartbreak and the aches and pains that my body gives me, and finding a way to somehow appreciate all of that.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, beautiful journey that, and beautiful way that you describe it, because it is that, it's not by avoiding or not accepting parts of ourselves, because all those things are part of the experience, right? Part of us. I mean, my healing journey. I mean, I tell you, I had a not a healthy relationship with alcohol for most of my life, and there was a point where I had to come and face to the consequences of that in my life, and really embrace it, because that was part of my journey. Somehow I chose that. Somehow I did it. And of course there's a lot of people that I had to ask for forgiveness for, including my kids. I have two adult kids, and also my ex-wife. She got to live a lot of that stuff. So, but you come to the place where completing that chapter and accepting, and actually this is the more powerful part of it. Choosing that. Not just there's a difference between accepting and choosing. Because accepting is almost like, okay, I'll accept it. There's still a resistance to it.
Hmm.
And then when you actually get to choose
Like, whatever, I'll let it
that.
happen.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about your past, right? Like the past things, like
Yeah.
choosing the heartbreaks, choosing
Yeah.
these things. Yeah. And like when you choose it, you're embracing it as part of you, and you're bringing it into the experience, and accepting responsibility for it, and all that, and then closing it. Have that not stop you from experiencing the next part of your life, or whatever's coming. Because life is full of surprises, right?
Hmm.
We have to keep completing what we have lived in order to welcome new experiences from nothing, from emptiness, from love, right? Because as we go, the way the human experience is that we keep adding all these experiences, negative ones, and we avoid and resist the hurt, right?
Hmm.
Of these experiences. So there's the limitation, right? It limits you from experiencing the fullness of what life is all about. So all these processes help us to embrace these things, accept and choose them, complete them, love them for the experience, for the learning from it, and then we get to emptiness, we get to nothing, which from nothing is where you can create everything
Mm.
as a new experience, right? From nothing, from emptiness.
That is so beautiful. Well, Eric, we're gonna wrap up here, but before we go, is there anything else that you would like to share about your practice, about what you do, about something maybe that you feel listeners should be aware of before they maybe start going down some of these paths and exploring some of the topics that we've discussed today? And if not, that's totally cool too. But I'd love to hear if you have any more thoughts.
Yeah, I want to share two things. We're living in such an amazing time right now, that there's so many things, so many ways to heal, like so many ways. Medicine, psychedelics is one aspect, and choose something. There's so many things that resonate with you. You don't have to live with all this pain in the past and all these things, but there's so many things out there. Choose something. So that's one thing. The other thing, it's did I forget the other thing? I probably forgot the other thing.
Let me actually
Oh,
ask a question on that really quick. Like, why do you
yeah.
think so many people are resistant to wanting to actually truly heal?
They actually get something out of the pain. There's something that they get to be victim, not to be responsible for themselves, which is I don't want to. I mean, this is a hard thing to say, but you don't want to be responsible for you, and then you just want to just stay. It's
Hmm.
comfortable to be in that space. It's just comfortable. So even if it's suffering, it's painful, it's comfortable. That's what the body knows, and that's where it wants to stay. It doesn't want to know. It doesn't want to go into the unknown, which is a very scary thing to go to. Is the unknown. So I think that's what keeps people where they are.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
one of them.
And then what was the second thing? I hope that you remembered it.
Yeah. So healing, I want to say, because this is very, very important. Healing is a journey. When you choose to heal, there's no magic anything out there. There's no one thing that you're going to go, and you can get a jump start. There's the retreats. I host retreats. I'm going to be hosting a few next year. Uh, they give you a jump start, but then you have to know that it's a journey. There's more to come. There's no one thing that you're going to go there. Oh, I'm good. I'm good to go. That was great. That doesn't exist. You got to continue doing the work, and then I want to rephrase this because people love this actually. Instead of doing the work is like doing liberation practices
Hmm.
because you're doing this work to liberate yourself to be free for love and joy of life. So I call this liberation practices or
I love
activities.
that. I love that rephrasing of it. It sounds a little bit more inviting when you say it that way.
Exactly. We work so hard. We got to go to work 40 hours, work here, and then work on ourselves. It's too much, man. We got to say liberation practices.
Ah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, brother, for coming on and sharing your wisdom with people. I'll link to for people to find you. It'll be in the footnotes of the podcast. So um, I got so much love for you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So much love for you and your work. Thank you very much for having me. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this podcast. And thank you to Erick for coming on and sharing your wisdom with the listeners. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a rating so that way we can get in front of more viewers. And also, if you think that you have anybody in your life that could benefit from listening to this, send it to them as well. And then also make sure that you're following us on social media at Trip Sitting Pod on Instagram and TikTok. If you feel called to reach out to me, send me a DM or shoot me an email at tripsittingblog@gmail.com. That is all I got for you. We will see you all next episode. May the force be with you.